trusted news source, ABC6 News at Noon.
Good afternoon, everybody, and thank you so much for joining us. I'm Doreen Scanlon. A dreary and wet Thursday here as we look live over Providence with our sky cam. There you go, near the little windshield wiper on our camera lens. It's going to be like this all day. Chelsea is in the Weather Center with more. Hi, Chelsea.
Hey, Doreen. Yeah, this is what we woke up to early this morning. This is what we're going to fall asleep to this evening. This rain isn't going anywhere for the rest of the day today and into very early tomorrow morning. It's kind of raw outside as well. Temps are in the low 40s right now. Cool for this time of year. On top of that, there's a little bit of a breeze, so we're feeling more like the 30s outside. Really just a dreary, kind of miserable day across southern New England. We picked up about half an inch of rain in the Providence area so far, closer to an inch in spots like Newport, in between a half and an inch for most locations across southern New England at the moment. And we do have more rain on the way right now. Some lighter showers coming through the area, but it's still kind of misty and drizzly with light sprinkles and a lot of clouds. There's a lot of thunderstorm activity that's staying to our south, but more rain will be filling in as the rest of the day progresses, especially into the evening hours. So while we get lulls here and there, it's still overcast, it's still damp. And this evening we have more heavy rain in the forecast, even a few rumbles of thunder possible. That being said, we do slowly start to clear out tomorrow. Tomorrow looks like a warm day, but I have some chilly temps in the 7-day. All the details in just a few minutes. Doreen?
Chelsea, thank you. Now to news. New at noon. Attleboro police looking for a missing 17-year-old. Police say Jacob Cordero went missing from the Journey group home in the city. They believe he may be a runaway and staying with friends in Fall River. You can see his pictures right there on your screen. Police say he left with someone driving a gray or silver car. If you have any info, police want you to call them. And now to an ABC6 News update. An arrest after a stabbing at Providence's Water Place Park. Police have a boy in custody in connection to the case. Our ABC6 crews on scene as a 19-year-old man was taken away by an ambulance after being stabbed. This happened about 10 o'clock in the area of the Basin on Memorial Boulevard. Police aren't saying much except that the two were fighting. The victim was rushed to Rhode Island Hospital where doctors performed emergency surgery. And in court today, a Providence man accused of stealing a Boston Children's Hospital van and leading police on a 30-mile chase into Mansfield. Andre Biggs is now facing multiple charges. According to Mass State Police, he stole that hospital van and started driving toward Rhode Island. Less than 20 minutes after the chase began, Biggs was arrested. What he didn't know was that stolen van has a GPS tracker on it, so police had no trouble tracking him down. And ABC6 News at noon covering our schools now. In a local school district taking a new approach to tackling a growing vaping problem. The Somerset Berkeley Regional School Committee recently approved a new budget with money for more staff as well as vaping sensors. ABC6 News reporter Laura Puglisi spoke to the high school principal about these new measures, and she is live now with more. Laura?
Well, Doreen, the principal tells me that students actually came to her saying it's becoming a huge problem. Students congregate in the bathrooms and vape, and she hopes these measures will put a stop to that.
Well, our students came to us and recognized it as a significant problem. We recognize that it's a significant problem.
School officials at Somerset Berkeley High School taking new steps to tackle an ongoing vaping problem. High school principal Dr. Susan Brailsford says it's not only a huge distraction at school, but she's concerned for their health.
This is a lifelong concern for our students. If they're vaping, this is potentially something that could impact them well beyond their high school years.
In a recent survey conducted by students at the school, 350 people responded to questions about the vaping problem. The results alarming to school officials.
54% of the students said that it is a problem in our bathrooms and, for our student body. And 20% of our students said they were uncomfortable using the bathrooms because there was vaping in the bathrooms.
The school committee recently approved a new budget, which includes nearly $25,000 to hire 2 new employees to monitor bathrooms and hallways. On top of that, they're purchasing vaping sensors. Those would sit in school bathrooms and alert administrators when someone is vaping.
We are going to be utilizing a software program where we can have virtual passes for students so we can have some control over who's in the hallway and when they're in the hallway.
The hope is that these efforts and more will deter students from vaping and educate them about the dangers. And Dr. Brailsford says education is also a big part of this effort. Students will also have to complete an online vape education program. Reporting live in the newsroom, I'm Laura Puglisi, ABC6 News.
All right, Laura, thank you. And trending now, New Bedford police warning of an increase in check theft. Police say people are phishing checks out of U.S. post office boxes and then fraudulently cashing them, sometimes changing the value to higher amounts. The USPS is aware and looking into it. Police ask the public to leave checks in the mailbox close to their time of mail delivery, or if you do go to the post office, hand it to a clerk inside. And Massachusetts will start mailing COVID relief checks to residents who worked in person during the pandemic. It's called the Essential Employee Premium Pay Program, and it's designed to thank those who continued working every day while COVID was spreading. About 500,000 people will get the first set of payments based on economic circumstances. To see if you qualify, go to our website, abc6.com. On Smith Hill today, a House committee will hear testimony on permanent mail-in voting today. The bill before the House State Government and Elections Committee would allow vote by mail without needing an excuse. Mail-in voting was significantly expanded because of the coronavirus pandemic, and a number of states across the country are moving to make it more permanent. This bill would also allow people to apply for a mail ballot online. In Pawtucket tonight, more discussion of a new unified high school concept is on the agenda. It's being considered by the school committee. It would be at McCoy Stadium. At last update, a surveying firm studied the site and determined some ground improvement would be needed. The unified school project would cost about $302 million if approved. Mayor Don Grebian is behind it.
I mean, this is the right thing to do. We still have a lot of community conversations to have. What does it look like, right? What schools are included? Is it one building or two buildings, right? Because as you start to get to the professional. So absolutely, this is something that myself and members of the council and school committee, and I believe full support, are in support of, and we know it's the right thing to do.
The plan would combine Shea and Tolman in one traditional school, along with career and technical programs as well. The school committee is meeting at 6:30. In South Kingstown, the school committee's redistricting committee will meet tonight. On the agenda, updates on the redistricting process after the school committee voted to close 2 schools. Those schools are Curtis Corner Middle School and Wakefield Elementary. The plan is to close Curtis Corner before fall of 2023. Wakefield Elementary School will close 1 year later. Community comment will be accepted at tonight's meeting. It starts at 5 o'clock at the high school. And now to the crisis in Ukraine. President Biden in Brussels for a series of meetings as the U.S. and allies try to show a unified front against Russia and its war with Ukraine. The president took a photo with other NATO leaders this morning as these meetings get underway. NATO is holding an emergency summit before meeting with the G7. The president and world leaders are expected to announce a new package of economic sanctions on Russia and will also crack down on any other countries helping them get around sanctions. And today marks 1 month since Russia launched its invasion of Ukraine. As Ukrainian forces continue to mount a fierce defense, Ukraine's President Zelensky is making the case for more help from the West. ABC's Jane Longman reports from Ukraine.
1 month of war, and President Zelensky had a powerful message overnight, calling people all around the world to come out in solidarity marches for Ukraine. This is as the Ukrainian military continues to inflict serious damage on Russian forces. They say they've destroyed a Russian ship at the occupied port of Berdansk. The scale of the explosion visible for miles. Significant, they say, because it carried weapons and ammunition to continue the siege of Mariupol and prevent evacuations there. The magnitude of the destruction there is now becoming clearer. This shocking drone footage, which has been filmed by a far-right paramilitary group who are fighting with the Ukrainians, shows a city in ruins, apartment buildings hollowed out, smoke pouring off into the distance. But Ukrainian forces will not surrender. U.S. defense officials now say that while the Russians heavily bombard this besieged city, the fighting there remains very contested. This comes as the United States has officially now accused Russia of war crimes. They pointed to atrocities in the city and across the country. As many as 100,000 people are still trapped in Mariupol. We spoke with one family who was able to escape. Ekaterina was trying to flee with her family when she says Russian troops opened fire on their car. She showed me the damage to the hood. They'd been trying to get to her father, but they were forced to leave him behind. This is just one example of the unimaginable choices people here have had to make. U.S. defense officials say that the Russian military east of Kyiv has now been pushed back to 34 miles outside of the capital, and to the north, the Russians are now in defensive positions. Well, President Zelensky has been speaking to NATO leaders today. They have already committed to more resources, more troops being sent to this part of the world. By starting this war, Vladimir Putin has got exactly what he said he didn't want: and empowered NATO. James Longman, ABC News in Ukraine.
And coming up on ABC6 News at noon, how former Rhode Island Governor, now Commerce Secretary Gina Raimondo, is remembering Madeleine Albright. Plus, the final day of Supreme Court nomination hearings for Judge Jackson. She's not on the Hill, but we'll tell you who is next. Now to national headlines at noon. U.S. Commerce Secretary and former Rhode Island Governor Gina Raimondo is remembering former U.S. Secretary of State Madeleine Albright. Albright died yesterday at 84. She was the first woman to serve as Secretary of State in U.S. history. Raimondo tweeted, "She was a great female leader and pioneer. Her work as a diplomat and a public servant inspired many. Her legacy will live on." And it is the fourth and final day of confirmation hearings for Judge Ketanji Brown Jackson's nomination to the Supreme Court. And today, more than a dozen witnesses are arguing both for and against her appointment. Judge Jackson's testimony ending on an emotional note after 19 hours of intense questioning from Republicans. But in the end, it was Senator Cory Booker bringing Jackson to tears, telling the nation she has earned her spot in history. Democrats will look to confirm the judge to the seat before the Senate breaks for the Easter recess in mid-April. The Royals under fire today. Prince William and Duchess Kate on a Caribbean tour facing criticism over the UK's colonial past and history of slavery. The prince trying to make amends, apologizing in a public speech, but Jamaica's prime minister telling them the country is, quote, moving on from the monarchy, intending to be an independent country. Former Celtic star Ray Allen scolded by a judge for skipping jury duty. The judge telling him it was disrespectful and that no one is, quote, above performing that civic duty. She also ordered him to donate $1,000 to charity. By the way, it is worth noting that the judge had delayed the trial at Allen's request so he could attend the Jersey retirement ceremony of Kevin Garnett. Coming up here on the news at noon, we have an update on the seas as boats cancel because of weather conditions. Plus, we have Chelsea's full 7-day forecast right after this. Well, you won't be sailing away on the Block Island Ferry today. All ferries are canceled because of weather conditions. You can call the reservation office if you need to reschedule. All Steamship Authority ferries are still running to Martha's Vineyard and Nantucket today. There are some delays.
And now, your ABC6 Storm Tracker weather with meteorologist Chelsea Priest.
You know, not a day that I would want to get out on the water. We're looking at dreary conditions. We've had some really heavy rain at times. At other times, like right now, there was not necessarily heavy rain falling, but you can still see that mist, that drizzle, that light rain activity, and that continues for the remainder of the afternoon. So we're not talking about downpours all day long, but we are talking about some light showers at times, and then even just the residual stuff on the roadways and the big puddles and the road spray coming at you on the highway because of all the rain that we've seen so far. Again, many spots picking up between ½ an inch and almost up to an inch already. This has been our view all morning long, and that's going to be the view for the rest of the afternoon, through the night, and even into early tomorrow morning before we start to see some improvements. It's also on the cool side of things outside today. We're sitting in the upper 30s and low 40s. Average high is up to about 50 degrees now. So we actually have a below average day happening, and there is a breeze that's coming in from the east to the southeast. Lighter winds for spots farthest inland, but you can see some sustained winds, 15 to nearly 20 plus miles per hour down along our coastal locations, and some gusts for the coastline in the 25 to up to 30 mile per hour range. So it is a breezy afternoon. And again, temperatures today are hovering in that mid to upper 40s range, below the average high of 50 degrees. We head into tomorrow, we should make it to 60 degrees. I don't think that we get into full sunshine. I think we have a lot of clouds in the morning, still a few lingering showers, but you'll get sun mixing in, and the wind from the southwest, which always warms us up a bit. Tomorrow will be our warmest day on the 7-day forecast. Then we have a bit of a downward trend with some really chilly temps ahead of us as we head into Monday. Those are the afternoon highs in the upper 30s. The morning temperatures are going to be in the 20s. It's going to be breezy too, which makes it feel even cooler. We haven't had a ton of cool weather so far this month. In fact, we've had 16 above average days for our high temperature. There's been a few, especially at the early part of the month, of some cooler than average days, but all in all, I feel like I've been a bit of a broken record talking about warm temperatures, and that's not going to be the case into the start of next week, at least. Satellite radar image shows you the rain that we've been dealing with outside all day today. Again, it's lightening up in intensity at the moment. A wider view shows you some heavy rain and a lot of thunderstorm activity just down to our south. Now, most of that stays south of us and pushes offshore, but an even wider view shows you there's even more moisture that's filling into southern New England. And we do have more steady rain and some downpours in the forecast for tonight before the system finally starts to pull away from us. So light rain showers outside continuing for the remainder of the afternoon into the early evening hours. Overnight, you're noticing some heavier rain building into the area. A few rumbles of thunder may be mixed in here. So we have some downpours overnight. Into tomorrow morning, there's a few rain showers lingering, but we should start to clear out from west to east. You'll get a little bit brighter into the afternoon hours. Again, I don't think we get into a full sunny day. You'll get some clouds still mixing around, but much brighter tomorrow, warmer tomorrow. Overnight Friday into Saturday, relatively clear, and we wake up Saturday morning with some sunshine. Clouds increase later in the day Saturday, and there may be a few sprinkles around Saturday evening, Saturday night, and into Sunday morning as cooler air starts to move in for the early part of next week. Mid to upper 40s today. It's breezy as well, which makes us feel even cooler. That rain will be heavy at times overnight. Temperatures staying in the 40s. Tomorrow, again, some morning showers. We end up with brighter conditions into the afternoon. Still some clouds mixing around, but temperatures will be around 60 degrees. We head into Saturday, still in the mid 50s, and then on Sunday, a few sprinkles around, temperatures around 50. But again, we get breezy overnight Sunday into Monday. Those temperatures down to the 20s, feeling like the teens. Monday looks sunny but cold. Highs don't even make it to 40 degrees, likely feeling like the 20s for most of the day. Doreen?
Oh man, Chels, thank you. Still to come here, government stepping in to ease the pain at the pump. We'll look at some of the ideas proposed to help with rising prices. Gas prices continue to be a major concern for many Americans, but more states are stepping in to give some relief by temporarily suspending gas taxes. ABC News' Rhiannon Alley has more.
The pain at the pump continues even as gas prices have dropped slightly in recent weeks. The national average is now $4.24 per gallon.
You know, the gas prices are high. Everybody can't afford those gas prices.
In Oregon, thieves are stealing gas, targeting these U-Haul trucks.
All of our trucks have been vandalized.
Lawmakers under pressure to act. Connecticut is the latest state to pass legislation to temporarily suspend the state's 25-cent per gallon gas tax.
What we're trying to do with these tax cuts is do everything we can to provide a little bit of relief to people.
Georgia and Michigan passing similar measures. Maryland was the first state to suspend its gas tax, shaving 36 cents a gallon off gasoline, effective immediately for 30 days, saving the average driver $5 to fill up.
The dramatic spikes at the gas pump, at the grocery store, and elsewhere are hard to ignore.
In Chicago, long lines for former mayoral candidate Dr. Willie Wilson's free gas giveaway. It's the second one this month.
People that need the $50 a piece of gasoline, I'm enjoying it more than them enjoying it.
In Los Angeles, the average gallon is now more than $6. California Governor Gavin Newsom proposing a $400 rebate per registered car. That's up to $800 per family, and pushing lawmakers to make public transit free for 3 months. But if passed, it wouldn't take effect until July. Lawmakers across the country are appealing to the federal government for relief in a way that would look a lot like COVID-era stimulus checks. Rhiannon Alley, ABC News, New York.
Still to come, music by the sea. The Newport Jazz Festival announces this year's lineup. Which stars are coming to Fort Adams next? Finally, this afternoon on a rainy, chilly day like today, let's think of summer and the Newport Jazz Festival. The lineup announced just this morning includes Norah Jones, Esperanza Spalding, and the Fearless Flyers and more. The festival will also feature a tribute to Jazz and Folk Festival founder George Wein. He passed away last fall. The festival is at Fort Adams July 29th through the 31st. The 3-day tickets are on sale now.
Nice to think about summertime at Fort
really
Adams. Hopefully we get some nice sunny days coming up for the summertime, because today is not one of them. It's rainy, it's cool out there. Temperatures only in the 40s. Bit of a breeze makes us feel even cooler. Tomorrow gets a little bit better. It'll be warmer but cold next week.
All right, Chelsea, thank you. And thank you for joining us for the news at noon. The news continues first at 4. Have a great day, everybody.